Good morning, one and all. I am Dr. Ramya Swetha, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today, our topic is what are the various definitions and terminology which we are going to involve in our modification by inclusions and confinements. So, in this, generally what is meant by inclusions and confinements, those are the techniques, those are adding materials, that is nothing but the inclusions are applying methods to confine to soil improvements, its mechanical property and their stability. So these are the general terms which we used as inclusions and confinements. These are the techniques that involves adding materials or applying methods to confine the soil to improve its mechanical and stability. So in this various techniques which we are chosen for getting these modifications, what they are required for the project requirements. According to that, we are going to reach the required properties of for getting the required properties of the soil based on the project requirement. So for this, we are choose various techniques for getting that properties. So in that, the one is soil reinforcement. So in this soil reinforcement, the reinforcement, it is nothing but something. So we are doing the reinforcement to the soil. The addition of materials such as geotextiles, geogrids or metal strips to improve the strength and stability of the soil. So for getting the desired properties, we choose these materials, additional materials. Such is known as the soil reinforcement. In geotextiles, the word geotextiles is permeable fabrics used in conjunction with soil to separate, filter, reinforce, protect and drain. So these are the various things. As per the requirement, we are going to choose that type of fabric, whether to separate, we are choose different kind, for filter, different types of materials are there, various permeable fabrics we are choose, for reinforce and protect or drain. It depends upon the which type of the which soil we required. According to that, we are going to choose these geotextiles. Those are nothing but permeable fabrics used in conjunction with soil. Geogrids, geosynthetic materials used to reinforce soils, typically made of polymers. So in these geosynthetic materials used to reinforce soils, typically made of the polymers, those are nothing but the geogrids. These are the geosynthetic materials used to reinforce soil. Reinforcement with strip. Reinforcement with strip involves inserting strips of materials such as steel or polymer into the soil to increase its load bearing capacity. Which type, whether it is steel or polymer, it depends upon the required load bearing capacity of the soil for the required project. It depends upon the reinforcement with strip. These are the various terms which we choose in this particular module. So grid reinforced soil. So the grid reinforced soil is nothing but using grid-like structures, usually made of polymer or steel, to provide tensile strength and improve soil stability. So that is the grid reinforced soil is nothing but it is a grid-like structures, usually made of polymer or steel, to get the tensile strength and improve soil stability. Geocells, 3D honeycomb-like structures filled with soil or aggregate to improve load distribution and stability. So it depends whether it is soil stability, strength, load distribution. According to that, we are going to choose. So for improve the load distribution and stability, so we may choose these kind of geocells. Those are 3D honeycomb like structures filled with soil or aggregate to improve to getting the desired properties. So in situ ground reinforcement, that is nothing but the on-site, in situ or on-site. So in situ ground reinforcement techniques applied directly to the ground without removing the soil, improving its properties through mechanical or chemical means on site. So where the site is located, it's improve those mechanical or chemical properties, whatever it may be, without removing the soil. Techniques are going to directly apply. Such type is known as in situ ground reinforcement. In dynamic compaction, dropping heavy weights. So whenever we are dropping heavy weights onto the ground to densify the soil and improve its load bearing capacity. See, this vibroflotation using vibration probes to compact granule soils and increase their density. So for this increase their density to compact granule soil using this kind of vibroflotation is nothing but the one of the technique under the in situ ground reinforcement. That is nothing but the on-site. We are doing these techniques. We are applying these techniques for getting the desired properties. Ground anchors. These ground anchors are the structural elements. They are installed into the ground to provide lateral support. For getting the support of the particular structure, we use these kind of ground anchors, typically used to stabilize slopes or retaining walls. In these ground anchors, tiebacks and soil anchors are the terms which we are use. These tiebacks, a type of ground anchor used to support retaining walls consisting of a tenon anchored into the soil or rock. These soil anchors used specially in soil to provide stabilization and support for structure. These are the various terms which we are going to use under the ground anchors to support the structure. Soil anchors, especially soil to provide stabilization, support the structures. These tiebacks, it is also a type of ground anchor to support retaining walls consisting of the tenon anchored into the soil or rock. It depends. So, whenever stabilization and supporting for structures, those are soil anchors. Whenever they are going to support retaining walls and consisting of tenon, those are nothing but the tiebacks in ground anchors. Rock bolting. So in this rock bolting, the insertion of steel boards into the rock formations to improve their stability and to prevent rock fails. So for that purpose, we are choosing this rock bolt technique. So the insertion of steel boards into the rock formation to improve their stability and prevent, that is nothing but the rock bolting. In that, fully grouted bolts, tension boards are the terminology which we use terms for under the rock bolting techniques. In this, bolts that are fully encased in ground to ensure strong bonding with the rock, those are fully grouted bolts. So whenever they are going to ensure the bonding between those two is nothing but the fully grouted bolts. In moving to the tensioned bolts that are pre-tensioned to apply a compressive force to the rock, improving stability. Those bolts that are pre-tensioned to apply a compressive force to the rock, improving stability. That is, those bolts are nothing but the tensioned bolt. Soil nailing. So soil nailing, it is a technique where steel bars or nails are inserted into the soil to reinforce and stabilize slopes and excavation. That is nothing but the soil nailing. In soil nailing, two different types are terms which we are used, that is nail grouting, facing systems. The process of injecting ground around the soil nails to improve bonding and stability, that is nothing but the nail grouting. Facing system, the surface treatment applied to the soil nail walls to protect and support the nail structure, often involving the shotcrete and precast panels. So whenever the surface treatment we are going to apply to soil nail walls to protect and support the nail structure involving the shotcrete and precast panels, this is nothing but the facing system. The process injecting the ground, the soil nails to improve bonding on the and stability, that is nothing but the nail grouting. So we are use these kind of techniques in these inclusions and confinements under various considerations. We are choose various definitions and terminology. Till now, we are understanding the various new terms and various properties, some of the definitions. These are all under the various techniques which we are going to involve in our ground improvement techniques. So finally, all 5 modules, they are going to introduce various types, various techniques which are going to helpful for getting the desired properties of the soil. In these, we are using various terms. So all terms, they are going to lead the to get the desired properties of the soil zone. Why those desired properties are required for the getting the construction, better construction or outcome is the required construction work, to getting the required construction work. These are all the things we are going to understand in this. So in this also, for choosing of the technique is depending upon the type of the soil, what kind of the property we require, where the conditions are there. In some of the situations, there may be 3-4 different techniques may get the desired property, but choosing of that is very, very important. Okay, different types of soil is there, different desired properties there. It is different means no issue. Whenever for this one kind of scenario, 3-4 are going to different 3-4 or 5-6 or 1 or 2, 2-3 techniques are available for getting the desired property. At that particular, we have to understand the effectiveness and also economical point of view. So like that, as a civil engineer, we have to understand in each and every aspect. So in some of the situations, the techniques are available, even though for getting the safety and effectiveness of this particular project and also within the cost. These are the parameters we are going to consider for choosing this. So as per these confinement and inclusion modification, site investigation, this detailed study of soil properties and conditions to determine the most suitable reinforcement and confinement techniques. So for choosing this method and technique is helpful in detailed study of the soil properties and conditions. So those conditions are going to change, and also each and every technique is suitable, it may not be suitable for all kinds of soils. So that is also we have to understand. So in design and planning, developing a plan that outlines the methods and procedures for implementing the soil reinforcement and confinement techniques. So once based on the chosen method, based on the chosen method, we are going to consider the type. So once we choose the technique, then we understand the what are the various methods involved in that particular thing. For example, grouting, different types of grouting techniques are available. Which one is suitable in that grouting technique? Jet grouting. In jet grouting also 2 or 3 different types may available. So we have to choose. So after that, what is the procedure for that particular technique? So we are implementing as the for getting the desired property of the soil. So that is the design, and we are going to plan. So it may not affect the construction schedule, and as per the availability of the equipment. In some of the techniques, different types of equipment are required. They may not be available on site. So like this, any transportation is required, materials. In some of the techniques, we need some materials for admixtures or different conditions. So those materials are availability is not available or not. So these are the parameters we are going to understand. We are going to plan according to that for getting the within the time and desired properties of the project. So this is one more important consideration. Design and planning. Quality control. Ensuring that the reinforcement and confinement techniques are applied correctly and effectively through monitoring and testing. So like this, we are going to understand these things. Also ensuring that the reinforcement and confinement techniques are applied correctly and effectively, and we are monitoring. So once we conducted the test and everything is done, again we have to test those as per the desired property we are getting or not. So before that, anyway, those tests we are conducting for understanding the which technique is suitable for better understanding the soil properties. After that, completion of everything, now we are going to monitoring and test those complete after completion of ground improvement modification process for understanding the getting the desired property or not. So this maintenance and monitoring is very helpful in so many techniques for longevity of the structure. So durable for the long over the period we are monitoring and maintenance gives the better effectiveness of the structure. So in these environmental impacts, assessing and in mitigating the potential environmental effects of the environments and confinement activities, according to this we have to understand the various assessing and mitigating potential environmental effects of the reinforcement. So these are all the various project considerations which we are going to understand. So overall, various definitions which are going to involve in the soil reinforcement, soil modification, under various techniques which we are used based on the categorization. So in this categorization, mechanical modifications, hydraulic modifications, physical, chemical and thermal modification, modification by inclusions and confinements. According to all these different types of modifications, we have different kinds of techniques. Again, in each and every method, different types we are going to understand for the better understanding about the for better understanding about the properties based on the types and properties of that particular soil and what are the desired properties are required for the project. We are using all these different definitions as well as the terminology for getting the ground modification. So in these ground improvement techniques are helpful for getting the desired properties of the soil for the project requirement. These are all the parameters which we are going to understand in various stages. So in this depends upon the which type of modification is we are categorized and we choose according to the desired property and we follow the procedure. We are going to design, we are implementing and we are monitoring and we are maintaining and also based on the environmental impact. So these are all the things we are going to understand. These are the what we discussed till now from all 5 modules. We some of the definitions and some of the terms, new terms which may include, maybe previous also we may use, even though various terms which we are, what are the various terms which we are used for this ground improvement techniques. Till now what we understand. And according to that, we have to consider these things and various parameters, what are the various considerations, what are the various properties like stability, reinforcement, strength, slopes. These are all various things which we are going to understand. So thank you. We will see in our next class.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.